Hey all, and welcome to this week's episode of the Mike Muldoon podcast. Thanks for joining me. It was an interesting week. For those of you who follow me on my podcast, and maybe you might have saw this also on my LinkedIn as well, this is kind of a repeater episode. But this past week I got laid off from my job. And then I put a post on LinkedIn about, the stuff that we go through and how we can't let it define us and how, we rise, we get stronger from it. And so anyway, this is actually just the audio version of that post. I tend to script out my podcast a lot of times have kind of an outline because I know there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, and I just want to make sure that I always have in front of me. So it just so happened to be after I wrote that post this week, I was like, well, I think I'm going to share this as an episode because I know there's a lot of stuff going on out there right now. There's a lot of people who are struggling. There's a lot of people going through things. A lot of people I like to think are writing their stories, as I've talked about often in the past. When we're in struggle or we're going through things or, we're having to fight through obstacles or whatever it might be in our lives, that is our story. When we find success or achieve our goals, we never really talk about that as much as we talk about the story that it took us to get there. So I guess this week's just another part of my story. So, so this is what happened. And we're going to talk about it right in a few seconds. If you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you've obviously have come to understand that I'm really no stranger to overcoming obstacles, whether it was as childhood, suffering from panic disorder. I think I mentioned my parents thought I'd never leave the house and, a lot of anxiety and managed through that. And I had a motorcycle accident when I was into my sophomore year in college. I threatened my college career. I basically lost mobility in my right hand, which is a little bit of a challenge when you're a wide receiver, but I didn't let it stop me. And I went on to have a pretty good successful career as a wide receiver at university. Obviously there's career setbacks, case in point, getting laid off and some other setbacks in careers and goals. But, through it all, I've prevailed and I will continually do so, because the thing about life, it is a journey and these obstacles are not roadblocks, but again, they're stepping stones to greatness. They'll test our resilience, ignite our determination, and of course, propel us towards our highest aspirations. I was so motivated when I was writing this, So as I sit here, I sit here before you. I don't stand, but I sit here before you. I'm just not someone who's been untouched by adversity, but I'm more of a testament to the power of just overcoming obstacles. And once again, I know sometimes we go through life and it's like, why does this happen to me again and again and again? Well, each time it's just a new way to test us, to help us realize how strong and incredibly strong we are, and to build new muscle. Build muscle, resilience muscle, the ability to overcome life's challenges, right? Because in life challenges, they loom in every sphere of our lives. It's always threatening to derail our progress and shatter our dreams. Whether we're facing personal setbacks or navigating professional hurdles or just confronting, societal barriers, right? All the different stuff that's going on in the world right now. The path to success or achieving our goals is riddled with trials and tribulations. But let me tell you this. It's not about the obstacles themselves, but it's just how we choose to confront them, how we choose to conquer them, and how we choose to let them define us. See, the thing is, throughout my life, I've walked through valleys of uncertainty. I've scaled mountains of doubts. I've weathered storms of adversity. Each obstacle I encountered it's not like a signal to retreat, but it was a call to action, to challenge myself to dig deeper, reach higher, and push beyond my limits. It's probably why when I get to these points in my life, I don't freak as much as most people do. It's not good being in this position, but I don't freak about it because I know that I have the mental fortitude and the strength from previous obstacles in my life that I've overcome, that I've built upon, that I can persevere, and through this perseverance and resilience and unwavering determination, I've always emerged stronger and wiser. I've learned something in it. And look, I get it. There's a lot of people going out there. So I'm not sitting here saying my journey is not unique, right? For many people going through these situations right now, we are all warriors in our own right. Battling against these forces that always just seem to maybe hold us back. And that's why I said sometimes, why is this happening to me again? But why is it happening again? Well, again, these things, they only make you stronger. So just do not be defined by your obstacle, right? But be determined by your ability to rise above it. All right. So embrace the new challenge as an opportunity to grow, learn, evolve, and, become a better version of ourselves. Because again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's something that's always stays with me. When we are comfortable, we are complacent. And sometimes the world, in order to make us change something, it has to throw us into a corner. It's got to press us against, and we have to do something. We get to a point in our lives where, we just, there's only one thing to do, which is to fight. You're in that corner. And sometimes the universe does that to you. Sometimes, situations are forced upon us to help see us and make change. So look, anybody who's going out there right now, who's struggling or going through things, or, recently had a layoff or a job loss, look, we're in this together, and we're all, we're going to conquer these obstacles that stand in our way. So if somebody who's right now that's going through this, make sure that you're there for them. Lift each other up. If somebody's going through right now and they're struggling right now, be there for them. And for you going through it, have unwavering faith and determination that things will work out. On the other side of every obstacle lies that sweet taste of victory, right? It's that story that you tell. You won't talk about the new job. You'll talk about the 6 months maybe it took you to get one, or the 3 years it took you to achieve a goal, or whatever it is. We always tell the story. Everybody wants a story, but nobody likes to go through it. So listen, as I, along with many others, are facing these challenges head on, let's just do it with courage and a desire to, again, just come out greater for this. Defy the odds, defy the naysayers. Anybody who might be out there holding you back, putting imposing limiting beliefs upon you, or telling you how difficult things are right now in the world. Right? To ignore that. Just be diligent. Push forward. All right. Again, you're not defined. We are not defined by our obstacles, but by our ability to overcome them. So let's make sure right now, as you're going through things, let's just rise above these challenges that stand in your way or our way right now, and just chase the greatness, soldier on. So like I said, if you've been following me on LinkedIn, you may have seen this already. You might have been inspired by it. You might not have been inspired by it. But if you haven't, as I've talked about my podcast since the beginning of starting this, I'm not somebody who sits there where I've got it 100% put together. I don't sit before people telling everybody, even people I work with or coach with. I don't sit there and to pretend that I've got it all figured out. Because to be honest with you, I don't want to have it all figured out. I like learning. I like growing. And life is about experiences. And as much as they all have to, we would like them all to be good, they can't be. Because if they're all good all the time, then we'll never understand what real good means if we've never suffered anything that's not been not so good. So it's just part of life. All right. Well, as always, thank you so much for listening. I'll be fine. I do what I do. I push ahead. But back out there in the job market again. And, as far as, does mean my coaching calendar's opened up a little bit more, so we could talk about that. But if you are someone struggling right now, then I'm here for you. If you know someone who's struggling right now, then be there for them. Okay. All right. All. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week. And as always, I got nothing but love for you.